And here we are at the end of the Lotus 7 with Lotus, the final factory Lotus Badge 7, the Series 4. Introduced in 1970 with a new GRP body over a simplified space frame chassis. It was aimed at lowering build cost and broadening appeal, with more cabin space, heater, demist, and a few other little luxuries. Models in the range included the Lotus 7 S4 1300 with the Ford Kent 1298cc Crossflow, the S4 1600 with the Kent 1599cc Crossflow, and the Lotus S4 Twin Cam with the Lotus Ford 1558cc Twin Cam, which was mirrored by the unit used in the Elan. These were pretty well a continuation of the models available on the line under the Series 3 lineup, but dressed up in the new Series 4 chassis and body. So what were the key changes between the Series 3 and the Series 4? Well, body and packaging. The alloy panel bodywork of the Series 3 was replaced by an entirely GRP shell with wider, longer proportions, more luggage and cabin room, and weather gear as standard, as well as luxuries like a heater and screen demister. The chassis was a simplified frame with fewer tubes, flat sections, to reduce build time and cost whilst retaining double wishbone front suspension and the live rear axle layout. From a usability and safety point of view, it gained a collapsible steering column, generally more civilised trim and specification. And as mentioned earlier, the powertrains were the same engine family as the Series 3, with the Ford Kent 1300 and 1600 and Twin Cam. So the performance step up was mainly from weight and aerodynamic changes rather than anything to do with engines. So let's look a little bit more in depth. The Lotus type number was the Lotus Type 60. The dimensions were 143.6 inches, which is 372 centimetres wide, 60.5 inches or 154 centimetres in height, and 41.5 or 44 inches screen hood. Wheelbase was 90 inches or 228.5 centimetres. The front track was 48.4 inches and the rear track was 49 inches. Typical weight was 690 kilograms, quoted for the top spec with Lotus Heritage on the Lotus Heritage table. Curb weights varied by engines and trim specs. The top-rated engine, as mentioned before, was the Twin Cam, and that was quoted as having around 125 brake horsepower. Transmissions were 4-speed Ford gearboxes, which were all period items. Ford 3-rail units were common across the Series 3 and Series 4. Steering was rack and pinion with 2 3/4 turns lock to lock with the collapsible column. Suspension, front was double wishbone coil spring and the rear was live axle with locating links coil springs. Brakes, front discs, rear drums. Wheels and tyres, 13-inch steel alloy or alloy options, which were period fitments, varied by spec and market, but 13-inch wheels were standard across the Series 3 and the Series 4. So the final factory Lotus 7, or the factory Lotus Badge 7, introduced for 1970 with the new GRP bodywork over a simplified space frame, was basically the forte of the Series 4. Key changes over the Series 3 were the body and packaging. The bodywork was, let's just say, somewhat divisive, but it was definitely of its time. And to my mind, at the front, it doesn't look bad at all. It was at the rear where it kind of droops away a little bit. Now, the sails of the 7 Series 4 were built and administered by Lotus Components rather than the main factory. This is a subsidiary tasked with customer competition cars and the 7 in the late 60s, managed by Mike Warner. This was focused on making the 7 viable, and as it was a kit, it was deemed that the parts department were the best to deal with it. Retail sales in the UK were channeled through the Lotus dealer network, with Caterham Car Sales with Graham Nern, the principal, the last remaining UK agent, and later they bought the rights to the 7 in 1973. Numbers produced, there's mild variance depending on the sources you go to, but the following are the most commonly cited with sources known. So the numbers we get from various sources are that 625 to 664 Lotus 7 Series 4 were built by Lotus. Lotus Heritage page quotes 625. Haggerty UK cites 664, built before Caterham took over. Caterham briefly carried on assembling Series 4 post the rights deal before switching back to the Series 3, and they produced a further 38. Steel Brothers in New Zealand, under license, built 95 kits assembled, continuing Series 4 till March 1979. These carry Lotus chassis tags and broadly match the UK spec with some local options. A realistic budget for Series 4 assembly is that 760 to 800, counting the 625 to 664 by Lotus, 38 by Caterham, and Steel Brothers adding a further 95. So that gives us a total of the 760 to 800 total production run for the Series 4. So you could argue that the Series 4 didn't end in 1973 when Caterham took over the 7. It was actually produced until 1979 in New Zealand. But it definitely was a turning point for Lotus as the company moved up market and moved the 7 to the parts department. It seemed to be overshadowed more and more by other models in the range. And this was where Caterham stepped in and gradually took on more and more of the marketing of the car, and eventually it was logical for them to take over production of the Series 4. But it was definitely a model of its time. It sold in reasonable numbers, and as with all Lotus 7s, you can't just dismiss the Series 4 because it wasn't as beautiful as the others. It was still a Lotus 7, and therefore the performance, the handling certainly lived up to the reputation built over the previous generations. So how do we define the Series 4 with regards to the other models that were produced up until then? Well, it was the last of the kit-built 7s under Lotus. It was also the last of the 7s under Lotus. It was arguably the most modern of the Lotus 7s, and it was sold in reasonable numbers overall, so you can't really call it a failure. And of course, the Lotus 7 Series 4 wasn't the end of the story. It was only the end of the story for Lotus. Hope you've enjoyed this little look back at the early Lotus, and if you have, please click on the thumbs up. That tells people like us that there's something here that they'll enjoy. Also, click on the bell. Click on the all option on the drop down, and then you'll be informed when more of our videos go live. And even better, share this with your friends. Let them know about it, and leave your comments below. Do you have any memories of the Lotus 7 Series 4? Do you have any experience of the car? Have you owned one? Are you restoring one? We'd love to hear your comments and memories. Until the next time, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.